So pranic healing is an energy science which deals with, in a very simple manner, you can say it's transference of energy. So as you have, you may have noticed stories of various saints in various different cultures. They say that they have performed miracles, and what those miracles are really are, they're basically an energy science where the saint, being on a very high energy level, transfers energy to the patient, and that transference, in very simple words, is what is pranic healing, which is also the same as we experience with different people. Like some people, you really feel nice being with them, and then there are other people whom you feel very tired or exhausted. Or you go to different environments, like you go to a temple or a place of prayer, you might feel very energized. But whereas you go to a hospital, a place which is low on energy, there you come out feeling tired or exhausted. So pranic healing, in very simple terms, is transference of energy, which a healer transfers to the patient.
So since you mentioned mystical, yes, pranic healing is a beautiful art form, but in modern pranic healing, what Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui has done, he's made it really simple. It's spread over 2 days, where you learn it in a cookbook sort of a format. So, all the superstitions, all the excess is being distilled to something which you call actually a science, which in the class where you actually experience energy, you get to feel it, you get to understand, and Grandmaster himself was a scientist. So the way he's gone and explained things makes it very, very simple for someone to pick it up. It's easy to complicate things, right? But in pranic healing, we try and simplify it so that when you go to the class, in 2 days, you will be able to pick up pranic healing and practice it.
What kind of ailments does pranic healing help with? Is there any specific ailments, or is it when people come to you with problems, what are the problems that they say about?
So there are actually two sets of people. One set is that who get interested in healing for some ailments. So there are professional healers which we have who actually go and heal people. So they come, they pretty much take healing, feel better. But what we recommend people is to learn it themselves. Like, take your healing in your own hands, where you, like Mikla said, you in 2 days you actually pretty much learn the whole energy anatomy and how you can clean and energize the aura to be able to create physical changes. So as we see in the book that has been written by the teacher, it covers everything from simple cold backaches or aches and pains to everything severe and chronic, like diabetes, blood pressure and cancer. So those are literally the range of ailments that get covered.
So it's there's physical, the emotional problems, the psychological problems. My grandfather had cancer, so at that point, the doctors had given him about 6 months to live, right? But we did go in for chemotherapy, and we did pranic healing side by side, so that the chemotherapy side effects were greatly reduced. He lasted another 4 years. 3 were actually quite all right. The last one, yes, there's very little that we could have done then. But, the amount, and my grandfather was an engineer, so he didn't really supposedly believe in all of this earlier. But it was so efficient, in dealing with all of this, which is very lucky we had pranic healing at that point.
So a diabetes who is already on insulin, is this pranic complementary medicine?
Yeah, exactly. So pranic healing is a complementary medicine. It is not an alternative therapy. So whatever the person takes, he could be on orthodox medicine or homeopathy or Ayurveda, which he is going to do for the physical body. He complements that with pranic healing, which covers the energy aspect, actually. So our science says that, like the physical body is there, surrounding that there is a bioplasmic energy field, which in layman's terms we say as the aura.
Yeah.
So now this aura, if it has stress and it may have dirty, diseased energy, due to maybe the thought forms or the the attitude of the person, it causes this aura to become dirty, which eventually causes the physical problem, because the life energy is what gives life to the physical body. So when you're able to clean the aura and the chakras, the energy centers, that actually helps that physical organ, which is the pancreas, to function better. That's the science that we come from.
How much does a single, if a person comes, what is the duration he has to take for this pranic healing? Is there any specific
Time limit,
course
you
sort
say?
of like in other streams of medicine, you take a 3 months course or something like that?
Right. So there's actually two things. One is if he's coming for healing, every healing session takes about half an hour, which goes on for about couple of months, depending on how simple or chronic
Severe
that
it is, yeah. So
And then if he learns, like Mekhla said, it's a 2-day thing, the beginner's course, and then later on it would take anywhere from, I think, a couple of months for him to do 3-4 courses, which makes the person be able to heal.
And I mean to say, like physiotherapy, can a person who has attended this beginner's course, can he do it by himself, or does he require any teacher or a healer for this pranic healing?
no, once he's learned, I mean, of course, there's always guidance coming from the instructors. There's always guidance. When you go in for a class, you're also given a book, okay? And it's like we said, cookbook format. Literally, the steps are given. Number 1, you need to do this, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's completely guided, right? So all he has to do is actually stick to the protocol for a diabetic or whatever it might be. He just needs to stick to that. And of course, there are also senior healers around. There's also people who, your instructor around, who can always guide you in what steps you need to take further. So there's no point that he's alone, left to his own devices. There's like a whole strong network behind, the office and the class, where he can always call up anytime and figure
There are
things
also
out.
centers,
Yeah,
so there are 6 to 7 centers across Bombay where people can go
Oh.
and get healing or get guidance.
Get-
Like you
yeah.
said.
No, I mean to say whether after a certain period, after the beginner's course or after 1 month he attends the classes, then can he himself do it at his own convenience,
Yeah.
at his place?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
Of
he
course,
can do it
yeah.
at his place, and if he doesn't feel confident, he goes back to the center and kind of repolishes his skill, and then again it's his choice. He can either do it at home or come to the center and do the healing.
What kind of people actually, any particular category of people that you see? I think it's almost a
All types.
Well, I mean, you have one
Literally.
person who, I come from the fashion designing background, and she is
Margaret.
she also has many facets, and from there I've moved on to education. So I teach in management colleges, and so there's literally like a whole range of people who actually practice, and that is very evident from the instructors and our member base, because you have somebody who's a CA, a lawyer, all kinds of professions, people who are business people, and then there are also housewives who come and practice it for their own family, for their health. There are beauticians who come and practice it.
I think a lot of very young ones are also coming, right? We've seen that trend also happening, and so it's nice to see. It's like this in
As
class.
young
It's
as-
diverse.
So the minimum eligibility is actually 18 years, but we have actually people who come in from 16 and we have to tell them no, you can come only post.
and
you're
the
an adult.
oldest.
I think the oldest might be like, I have taught somebody who's in their 70s, but
I mean, there is a sprightly young, 80-something lady who came to the ashram once, and she sort of was zipping around everywhere. So it's for everybody. It's really for everybody.